Campus connection, yeah, and that's a one. Hey, so make us on then listen, let me tell you this. Students, I wanna make we do this. Oh yes, we create this space just for you. Make we talk about you, make we talk about school, government and politics, sports, academics, anything that concern you. And you know when love pass through, it's all about the gospel. So tell me what one from campus. Youths are going on from campus. Come on, tell me what one campus connection. Yeah, and that's a one down. Hey, I want one from campus. All right, all right. Welcome, 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 everyone, to yet another episode of Campus Connection. It's Tuesday, May 10th, 2022. And guess what? This is our 10th episode in this season of Campus Connection. And we're so happy that you are here with us. I am Jonathan Fletcher, one of your co hosts, and I have my co host here with me.
Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to another episode. It's a brand new week. And for some of us, we're already feeling like, okay, wow, when are we gonna get to Friday? But guess what? Campus Connection is here to keep you energized for the rest of your evening and the rest of your week. Jonathan, how was the weekend?
Wow, such a busy weekend, such a weekend filled with a lot of activities. Let me say happy Mother's Day belatedly to all the
Belated.
mothers
Yes,
out
yes,
there.
yes.
Big up yourselves. We could not be here if you did not decide to carry us here. So we have
Right?
to show you the respect that is due
Much
to you
respect.
guys,
Yes, yes.
you know?
Oh my lord. And for me as well, like I think it's been just an awesome weekend for me.
Mm-hmm.
Spending that time with mommy and grandma and just loving on them. And I know if you love, appreciate, respect your mom and you had just an amazing time with them over the weekend, we want to see you in the comment section. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, we want to see you in the comment section, just letting us know how your weekend went.
Definitely, definitely. So let's take a look on what's on the timetable for today's show. Today we have education, news, and bulletin with our student partner for the month of May. And we also have I Chose Christ, You Should Too.
And this week, Jonathan, we also have our honor roll student who is Leanne Allen. She's an upper sixth form student at the St. Andrew High School for Girls.
Mhm.
And she was recently successfully accepted into the Florida International University, FIU. Leanne happens to be the daughter of renowned gospel artist Rondell Positive. So we're excited to talk with her this week.
Big, big things happening here inside Campus Connection. We also have in our Let's Talk About It segment. We're going to be taking a look at the social media responsibility and etiquette for students. And the question is, when the post isn't what it's supposed to be, what do we do? Our guest this week will be chairperson of the National Child's Month Committee educator, Dr. Pauline Mullings, and children's advocate, Mrs. Diane Gordon Harrison, from the Office of the Children's Advocate.
And then we want to also know, what are your thoughts? What's your feedback on our social talkback question? So, do you think parents should have access to their children's social media platforms and pages? Jonathan, I will reserve my opinion until we get to that segment. But I know many of you can't wait to chime in. So you can do so on WhatsApp. Go to our WhatsApp line. It's 876-997-3125. Or you can also give us your feedback on Facebook or on YouTube if you're joining us there as well.
All right. Well, it's now time for the news. Anastasia Ellis, she's a second year student at UE, majoring in Spanish and minoring in integrated marketing communications. And she's our student partner for the month of May. She's here to tell us what's new and happening in the news.
Oh, all right.
So we're just
Nastasia.
waiting on Nastasia to go ahead with education news and bulletin.
Good day, everyone.
Hi, Nastasia.
Hi.
Okay, so welcome to Education News for May 10th, 2022, here inside Campus Connection. I am Nastasia Ellis. So Miss Yui Mona Alia Kato, voice to tackle mental health. The newly crowned Miss Yui Mona 2022 says mental health will be the main focus during her reign. Our mental health is often overlooked. With my altruism project, I hope to cater to the mental health of students on campus. I am really looking mental health campaign because mental health is important for us to be efficient in life. Cato shared an interview with the Jamaica Observer. Cato, an actuarial science major who aspires to become an investment analyst, beat 11 other competitors for the crown in what is considered to be the most prestigious pageant among students of the University of the West Indies. The overall objective of the pageant was to find an ambassador for the university who possesses poise, beauty, and most importantly, intelligence. The ladies were judged on their talent, awareness, confidence, poise, public speaking ability, and modeling ability, said Perry. The coronation took place on April 15 inside the Assembly Hall at the Mona campus. Chazelle Anglin and Deidre Wadsworth finished in second and third place, respectively. Now, as issues of dress and grooming continue to resurface in the public education system, two secondary school student leaders say legislation is perhaps the way to go to ensure that institutions abide by the Education Ministry's policy guidelines. However, they believe laying down the policy in law instead of leaving it up to schools to narrow down the rules may not go down well, given the history of how schools were formed in Jamaica and principles grounded in tradition. National Secondary Students Council Region 1 Assistant Vice President Daniel Jordan Bailey says a regulatory framework for hairstyles for students would lead to equity in terms of how students are permitted to wear their hair. The question of legislating dress and grooming policy for public schools was raised by Government Senator Natalie Campbell Rodriguez during a recent discussion between the leadership of the Island's church-run schools and the Parliamentary Joint Select Committee reviewing the Jamaica Teaching Council bill. Archbishop of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, Reverend Howard Gregory, said he did not believe all school rules must be framed in law, given the shifting nature over the decades of what is acceptable for the classroom. Teachers of Jamaica are being urged to practice self-care so as to risk burnout. Communications professional Simone Clark Cooper is urging teachers to ensure that they see to their own well-being even as they try to reach their students in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. Lest the educators suffer burnout and health complications due to stress. Clark Cooper, Chief Executive Officer of SimSpeak Communication Service Limited, was given the keynote address at the opening session of the Jamaica Teachers Association's annual Helen Stills Professional Day celebration, held at the Holiday Inn Resort in Montego Bay, St. James. We tend to look a lot at our students and say, boy, the learning loss is so great and the children are suffering. But who is talking about what our teachers are going through? How many of you have asked in the last 2 years, why am I still a teacher? Do I stay in teaching? Clark Cooper asked while addressing teachers at the Education Week function for 2022. It was held under this year's theme, Celebrating Me, Embracing Self-Care for Sustainable Health and Wellness. Education News and Bulletin encourages that as we all continue to navigate this pandemic together, it is critical that we don't only prioritize physical health, but mental health as well. We cannot afford to neglect self-care in these times and in our efforts to give our all to the various tasks that we have to tackle on a daily basis. Once again, health is wealth. It's now time for Campus Bulletin. The Christian Teachers in Action presents a forum for teachers and guidance counselor under the theme Reaching and Teaching Boys. This Friday, May 13 at 6 p.m. live on YouTube and Zoom. For more information, visit Christian Teachers in Action on social media. And that's the news we have for you today inside Campus Connection. Be sure to tune in next week for more news updates. I am Nastasia Ellis.
Thank you so much, Nastasia. And she did a good job too, Jonathan. That
That's
was
right.
really amazing. I was listening to her and just the perspective of even just the teachers. Many times we don't consider that perspective when we're talking about all that's happening in schools, but teachers go through a lot,
A
and
whole lot.
certainly
A whole lot.
certainly, we want to say respect and much love to all the teachers, even those who are listening in right now. If you're listening, a very special big up to you. It's now time for I Chose Christ, and you should too. So listen in and be blessed.
I can truly say that I've been blessed. I've got a testimony. So I rocked and rested in Ketchen High School, and indeed I've been blessed with my family and those I've encountered along my journey. I've had my bumps and scrapes, but nothing major. As I was living day by day, it became monotonous and mundane, and much of it a waste. After attending church for a couple years with no real intention of searching for God, I started becoming serious about life. My spirit was dry and my longing deep that no entertainment could relieve. So one day, after many church meetings, I finally made my decision to give my all to God by a powerful call through one of my church leaders. Ever since, I've asked him to prepare me to be a sanctuary. But quite honestly, I found that God was worth living for after all. So I came to God using the two ways I mainly utilize in making decisions. One, the logical and moral perspective, and two, the emotional perspective. So all that the word speaks against are other things I agree are bad, and all that the word says is good are things that I agree with as well. And the word gives an account of creation by which I can know my history, unlike the world which says that I'm just a mistake or a coincidence. In the word, I'm a masterpiece, intentionally crafted and manufactured with an ingrained purpose here, along with the knowledge that there is a life that can be gained in the hereafter as well. So it answers my question on life's meaning and compels me to be different. And it guides me into my life's purpose that is just real, necessary, and satisfactory. Indeed, his words alone makes me know that I am a promise to be anything he wants me to be. That's why I choose Christ and why you should too.
All right, all right. You've just heard our segment, I Chose Christ, and you should too. And I was really blessed by that testimony, just hearing someone come to a knowledge of purpose. Why am I here? Why was I created? And that is such a blessing. Purpose and just the knowledge of why God made us is to glorify him, and so we thank you for sharing why you chose Christ. And I want to encourage all our young people who are listening, you send in your videos, send us your voice notes, everything, to let us know why do you choose Christ, why do you continue to choose him each and every day, right, Jonathan?
That's totally right. We are always blessed by the testimonies of our young people here inside Campus Connection.
All right, all right.
So, as we're on the whole road of testimonies, Love 101 admires hard work and resilience, and we choose to acknowledge outstanding academic performances varying from school to school. So, this segment of the show aims to highlight students who go above and beyond from different levels of education.
And guess what, guys? Whether you're A plus, B plus, C plus, we're still wanting to acknowledge you and your hard work in this segment. This is Honor Roll. Dum dum dum.
That's right. That's right. So if you're more than a conqueror, all right. No, we don't actually have the part. I see a cover our mouth. I'm like, no, not again. But we have the daughter of Rondell Positive, Leanne Allen, who is an upper sixth former and senior prefect at the St. Andrew High School for Girls. Leanne, of course, as I mentioned before, is the daughter of gospel recording artist Rondell Positive, and she's also the president of her school's Innovators Society Club and member of Simply Neuroscience, which is an international student-led organization that empowers students to get involved in the interdisciplinary fields of neuroscience and psychology through
Mm,
education,
mm,
outreach,
mm.
and awareness initiative. A
Wow.
whole heap of things, whole heap of things.
So I was today years old when I saw that when I learned that there was a Simply Neuroscience organization. But Leanne, you have begun to inspire so many, and you aspire to become a, let me see if I can get this right now, a clinical pediatric neuropsychologist.
Yeah, that's right.
Whole heap of things.
Wow. And you're on your way to attending FIU Honors College, Florida International University. So Leanne, were you always this bright, or did it just come like gradually, like, you know? How did it work?
Um, I wouldn't say I've always been this bright. I don't know. I think that I've always been a very outgoing person, a very focused person when it comes
Mhm.
down to my academics. I've
Mhm.
always been interested in kind of exploring whatever is going on,
Mhm.
as far as it relates to, the sciences and stuff. So going into high school, from primary school, it was
Mhm.
kind of like I already knew that that was something that I wanted to get involved in. And
You
eventually
mean neuroscience was something you knew you always?
I knew I wanted to get involved in biology. Neuroscience came like in grade 10, grade 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Nice, nice, absolutely amazing. So I mentioned earlier that you are the daughter of an international gospel recording artist, right?
No
Paint a
pressure.
picture for us. What was it like growing up with your mother and your father? With school and all of that.
Well, I think I'm blessed with parents who are very good at leading me in a direction that's not only about academics, but also that, they give focus to those aspects of my life, but also to let me know that, failure and, when I mess up, it doesn't mean that that's the end of the world.
Mhm.
They've instilled in me, like you're here for a purpose. You guys were talking about purpose earlier, it just clicked in
Yeah.
my head.
Yeah.
But they've instilled in me a lot about purpose, and so I know
Mhm.
that wherever I apply myself, whether that's academics or outside of that, all that I'm doing is for this big purpose that God placed me on the earth for. And
Mhm.
so that means that, I need to work hard because I'm not just here for myself, to serve myself. I'm here to learn so that I can serve other people and help other people.
That is amazing, and just judging by your level in terms of you still being in high school, you seem very self-aware. I don't know, I'm picking
That's
up
very
this
quiet.
vibe of I know why I'm here, I know
Yeah.
what I'm supposed to be doing kind of thing. So tell us, Leanne, what exactly is a clinical pediatric neuropsychologist? What is that?
Okay. Well, neuropsychology in general is kind of the study of the brain, but the application of that to, human behavior and so on. And so there are lots of branches that it could go into, but I am particularly passionate about education,
Mhm.
and using research on the brain to apply it, to helping students who have learning disabilities, and autism specifically.
Mm.
So
Okay.
there's like some research being done on how you can use different activities that are more brain based instead of just, regular teaching, um, to see like how that would affect the learning of someone with a learning disability, or children with autism. So I plan to work in that industry and hopefully learn as much as I can to bring that back to Jamaica, because I find that a lot of children with learning disabilities and who are autistic often get left behind because teachers aren't equipped, to properly serve them. So if
Right.
there's a way that, I can learn whatever it is and get that implemented, then yeah, that's what I'm working towards.
Absolutely amazing. So tell me something. As a high school student, especially in this day and age, have you ever felt restricted having Christian parents or coming from a Christian background? What has that experience been like?
Honestly, I don't really think so. I don't really, no, I don't really think so. I don't have like intentions to do anything outside of the realm of what my
Amen. Thank you,
was.
Praise.
Jesus. Thank you,
That's
Lord.
great.
I'm pretty fine with, whatever I'm allowed to do, which is, I mean, I'm allowed to do regular stuff that a teenager with, the knowledge and
I
the
love that. Please just
common
stay
sense
that way.
of.
Yes, please.
So,
Especially
yeah,
when you go to FIU, please just stay that way.
yeah.
But Leanne, you spoke about wanting to be able to help even those who deal with autism, helping even teachers who have to serve those who are autistic. Can you tell me, or are you able to tell me, if this particular field of study, does it take a personal note for you? Do you have any experience, maybe loved ones, family, friends that you know are autistic and maybe have not seen them, get a good education? I don't know. What is it about autism that made you go this route?
Well, I have two instances. One, I have a cousin who has a learning disability, and I've kind of seen how that has impacted his whole high school life. But also, my mom used to be a teacher, and I've seen her have to take on classes with autistic children. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she's not necessarily trained to, be doing that sort of
All right.
education,
Mm-hmm.
but also just I feel like I've had this compassion for them because I know that, I mean, if I find learning difficult in general
Right.
and I'm what a norm, like I have what a normal learning curve would be, then you can
Mm-hmm.
imagine that somebody who finds it, more difficult to interpret certain things, it would be harder for them. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've like growing up, I've had a lot of instances with people who have had autism or a learning disability. And I found that, I'm able to, I don't know why, but I'm just able to relate to them more and kind of have that patience. I think it takes a lot of
Mm-hmm.
patience as well, which,
Mm-hmm.
it can be hard for a teacher who has 40 students to be able to have patience for like
Mm-hmm.
a couple students with learning disabilities or whatever. So, yeah, I think over the years that has kind of just always been in the back of my brain. I've also done Sunday school classes with some a kid who had a learning disability, and I kind of saw
Wow.
how he was treated differently around the other kids, and so I had to like talk him down and stuff, and so I realized that like a lot of that was God just like putting people in my place to just show
Mm-hmm.
me that, that's where like I was intended
Wow.
to be. So yeah.
That
Wow.
is
Wow.
awesome.
Listen, listen. I know your father to be a very prolific man, but
Oh,
trust me, it rubbed off on you some way along
thank
the
you.
line. Just sitting here
Wow.
listening to you, I am really impressed.
Me
By
too, Jonathan.
just the way in which you are articulating, and the different experiences you have been sharing. And so I wanted to pause right now and just say something to a student who may be struggling in school, who may, have the desire to be better and to do more things in life, but somehow they feel as if they're at a crossroads or facing some kind of roadblock. What would you say to that student right now?
But I think the most important thing to say is that, it's not the end because, life has to progress. You were
Mm-hmm.
here for a purpose. And so, whatever roadblocks are there, they're there to teach you stuff. Um, and so, it's easier said than done. But realizing that those roadblocks are just there, like you have to put in the work and the effort to be able to, overcome them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just you have the ability to do it. That's not a question of like whether or not you can do it. You are able to. It's just that you have to be able to, recognize that, stand on it, and affirm yourself of that, and also just, do what you have to do.
Mhm. I hear such a resoluteness, if you will, in what you're saying. And Jonathan was sharing on what impressed him about everything. But I think what's impressive to me is just the heart that I'm hearing come forth in
Yeah.
terms of that heart of compassion
Mm-hmm.
for those who don't necessarily have what you have, and it's that is the love of God. It comes in different shapes and sizes
Yeah.
and forms, but it is the love of God. And so we do want to pause right here to remind everyone who is listening that you're listening to Campus Connection, and we're in our honor roll segment. We're talking with Leanne, and she is the daughter of Rondell Positive. Everybody knows Rondell Positive. But we do have our social talkback question coming up, and we want to ask you, do you think parents should have access to their children's social media accounts? So you can send us your response on WhatsApp. Go to our WhatsApp number. It's 876-997-3125. Or you can also comment right there in the comment section on Facebook and YouTube. Leanne, I'm seeing a lot of your supporters online cheering you on. But my question to you, let's talk about FIU. So you're going to college in Florida. What are your expectations? What do you imagine that it will be? You're going to college in Florida. It's an honors college at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's gonna be hard. I mean, it's I think with our education system, we don't really get exposed to like a lot of the knowledge that we're gonna get to learn in college. So I imagine
Mhm.
that I'll be able to learn a lot of new stuff, but also be able to meet new people from different backgrounds. It's a very diverse university.
Mhm.
Like most of the people that go there aren't from Florida. I think it's like mostly international students. So I'm excited
Mm.
about that. But
Mhm.
also, I'm glad it's in Florida because it's not too far from home, So
Yes.
that's
True.
always
Very
good. And
true.
it's warm. I don't know if I could
Mm-hmm.
do the whole cold thing all the time.
Oh
Wow.
boy. So with that being said, you're moving to Florida, from Jamaica in a new culture, new experience altogether, coming from the high school that you are currently at. Define balance for me. Like, how do you define balance? With church, with school, with everything that you have going on. How do you balance things now, and how do you expect to balance things in the near future?
Well, balance is something that I struggle with a lot. It's probably like the biggest thing that I struggle with. Just because when I need to get things done, like I set my mind that I have to get them done. And so, like, I'll focus in on it and just forget about everything else. So, it's definitely something that I'm learning to do. But something that I find that works for me is having a lot of alarms, like alarms to, oh, let me stop and do my devotional, or like non-negotiables of when I wake up in the morning, I need to do my devotional before I can, go on social media or whatever, or answer any text messages. When it comes on to school, when I'm in school, that's the time that I'm in school. I can come home and give myself a little break, take a nap, whatever. But when it's time for school, I find it easier to work with other people. So, I'll Zoom with my friends to be able to study. And in that time, we're studying, we're not doing anything else. So I think it's about, setting boundaries for yourself and having those non-negotiable things that, you have to be able to do them because they're the priority. And obviously, like for a Christian, the priority should be God and then everything after that. So I try my best. Sometimes I don't succeed in trying, but I try my best to, make that my priority and then allow everything else to kind of flow with it.
Wow. So what would you say you're able to balance everything, and it seems like you're doing it pretty well because it looks like you're succeeding at what you're doing. So what would you say you owe your success to, or who would you say you owe your success to?
Well, I mean, obviously God, because I wouldn't be here without him. But
Right.
also just my parents, and especially my parents and my friends as well. Just like I have a very big community of people who are cheering me on. And
Mhm.
I've come to realize that obviously we're not meant to do life alone, and I'm very blessed with the people that are around me to, cheer me on. And in the moments when I feel like, oh, I can't do it anymore, they're there to encourage me, just as I'm there to encourage them. So I feel like community is a very, very big part of it. Church
Mhm.
community, school community, friends, all of that. It's very easy, to be like very sad when you're just on your own. And
Yeah.
Right.
so being around people has always, lifted my spirits and allowed me to kind of continue to push forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Boy,
Wow.
Leon, to say that I'm impressed would be an understatement. I am
Yes.
very much impressed with how prolific you are, especially at this age. And I can just imagine. I see Dr. Pauline clapping in the background.
Yeah.
I can just imagine what will happen in the future. I really take my hats off to your parents, the
Yes.
Allens. They have done an amazing job. It's quite clear that they've done an amazing job with you, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Thank
Go with
you.
God and go with grace.
Yes,
Thank
all the
you.
best. Before you go, do you have any big ups or any shout outs that you want to send?
Okay, shout out to my parents. Shout out to Lauren and Shanine. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
Leon.
Thank you so much, Leanne.
All right, all right. That
Wow.
was an amazing, an amazing.
Amazing.
Is that I'm more and more impressed every single week that we get to go on a
Yeah.
roll. Boy, these students, I don't
It's
know.
like
I don't know.
it's like you think back on your life and you're like, I thought it was something special,
Yeah,
but
I literally
no.
just asked myself the question: what was I doing in high school?
What was I doing? No, but we have some extraordinary young people, and with all
Absolutely.
the negative that's going around, it's so good to be able to highlight some positives, you
Ah, you
know?
get it, Rondell. Okay, cool. Uh,
Oh, wow. No,
okay, all
not
right.
on live, not on the live broadcast. No, you didn't.
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I apologize. All right.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have a Let's Talk About It segment coming up, and we're going to be taking a look at our social media responsibility and etiquette for students. And it's
mhm.
when the post isn't what it's supposed to be. Another pun, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very punny day. Um, yeah. So we have a
let's
lot to
just
talk about.
let's just yeah, let's just go to a break.
No, I don't think we're going to go to a break actually. Based on what is going on. Uh,
Wow, okay.
so we'll jump
I
right
felt like you
into.
needed a timeout, but
No,
okay, let's
I'm
just
good. I'm
continue.
good.
You're
I'm good.
good? Please, no more with the puns.
Oh
All
man.
right, continue. We'll allow you to continue.
All right, so let's talk about it segment. As I said earlier, we have our social talkback question, and that question is: should parents have access to the social media accounts of their children? Very important question that we have to ask. But in this Let's Talk About It segment, we have our guest this week, and they are the chairperson of the National Child's Month Committee slash educator, Dr. Pauline Mullins. And we also have children's advocate, Mrs. Diane Gordon Harrison from the Office of the Children's Advocate.
That's right. And remember, guys, we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. You can also join us and leave your feedback in the comment section. You can even send us your feedback in a WhatsApp message. It's 876-997-3125. All right.
All right, all right. And we have Dr. Pauline Mullins here. Welcome, Doc.
Welcome.
You can go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank
Perfect.
you. Thank you so much. And good evening. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hi.
Good evening. Welcome, 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 welcome to Campus Connection. I really do believe that this particular topic is very necessary and relevant, especially for
Mhm.
the time that we're living in. We see a lot of things happening on social media, especially with our students. So the real question that I want all campusites to be asking right now is, what am I supposed to be posting online? That should
Mhm.
be your question. So everyone has some form of technology device. Now it's 2022, whether it's a tablet, phone, laptop, etc. But the reality is many have disconnected their lives from so many other things that you fail to realize that it has become a security hazard.
And we all have those devices. We have our phones, we have our iPads, we have our laptops. But the real question or the real important thing is social media responsibility. So the emphasis is on making sure that, you don't just post something and then years down the line, you miss a job opportunity for a simple post, or you miss your college opportunities for a simple post. And so the questions we're asking even now: how do we teach our young people to be good digital citizens? Is it that we lecture them? How do we teach them to spare the internet and not verbalize the extent that they would go for even sexual pleasure and different things like that? We're seeing an increase in those kinds of content coming from our young people, and we want to know, how can we teach them now to be more responsible, to be good, as we said, digital citizens. And today we're definitely going to be finding out more. All right, so Dr. Mullins is here with us, and I would like to ask you, Dr. Mullins, first of all, welcome again to the show. It's so good to have you on with us. I would like to find out from you, what are your thoughts on just the social media landscape and how our young people are using that landscape?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I would like to go a little further behind before I even answer that question.
Okay.
I am really concerned because I have come to recognize that as adults, we do owe our children a barrage of apologies for the things that we have allowed to happen that have affected their lives years after.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that I recognize in recent times that as a child, we would give our children, or we would get the pacifier, the soda. That's what
Mm-hmm.
goes in our mouth. When
Right.
mommy wants to keep us quiet, we get a soda. Okay? But I have come to recognize that the pacifier that's been used now is a tablet.
Yes.
And the phone. You will call someone and you didn't get that. Oh, you didn't get me because the baby had my phone. She loved the phone, you see, and she always on it looking, baby, right? And so we have socialized our children to think that this is what is important. This is what teaches you. So we don't make the time to sit with our children anymore to teach them good morals and values and proper attitude. We allow the internet to teach our children.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are all complaining and we are blaming the young people and we are talking against them and we are saying how terrible they are and how irresponsible they are when it comes to social media. And all of that is so. But do we stop to consider? Did we do our part in helping them? So that
Mm-hmm.
today the reaction could have been different if
Mm-hmm.
we took the time to care and to teach and to be there. So in
Mm-hmm.
our place, the tablet is there. When there
Yes.
should be communication between us and our children, it is the tablet or the phone. I am so annoyed because I come to recognize that parents are in their bedroom and they're taking text messages from their children from their room and they're in the same house. What are we teaching our children? What's going to happen a
Mhm.
couple of years from this? The only form of socialization that they are going to know is how to socialize with this, their phones.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a big concern for me. So before we can even answer the question about our young people being responsible or irresponsible, we need to look back as adults, caregivers, parents,
Mm-hmm.
where we have failed in allowing this thing to get out of control, that they are now
Definitely.
so controlled. They are controlled by social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's a concern.
And you know, Dr. Mullins, I'm very appreciative of your stance. I'm very
Yes.
appreciative with the way in which you started, because we do have a responsibility as adults to ensure that our children are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Because at the end of the day, if we don't, someone else will tell our children what to do. So the
Yes.
next question I'd like to ask: do you think then that, or what age rather, do you think a child should be given access, or full access rather, to a smartphone or a tablet or a laptop? And
I
outside of
would
school, outside of
I
school.
would like to say that when they are at the age where they are responsible enough to
Mm-hmm.
handle it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember with my own daughter, even in third form, a smartphone was not it.
Mm-hmm.
And coming on to fourth form when she got one, I told her, I said, you are not going to let the smartphone be smarter than you. No
Mm.
way. And I told her
All
that.
right now.
And I said, listen now, you're gonna put this phone down at 9 o'clock. And this is not, I'm not asking her to take it to my room. I show her where it is to where she's to put it. That's my
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
instruction. And she followed it because this is how I grew her. You do
Yeah.
what I say. I teach the values. I said the
Mm-hmm.
values you learn at home are the most important ones you will ever know. And you do not allow people to influence your values, but you go out there and influence theirs. So when
Mm-hmm.
I said to her, you are not going to allow this phone to be smarter than you. So 9 o'clock, that phone goes on the dining table. 9 o'clock, whether I'm here, I am out, I am in, at 9 o'clock, that phone goes on the dining table. It's not locked away, it's not hid anywhere. She can't touch it until the next day. Right? So the age of responsibility is what is important to me. I would not put a figure to say, oh,
Mm-hmm.
at 15 a child can. There are
Okay.
15-year-old who are irresponsible, who cannot manage their smartphone. And there are
Right.
12-year-olds who are intelligent enough and understand the risk involved and understand the danger and understand the good and the positive and the plus. And at 12-year-old, they can manipulate and they can, they can use and they will act responsibly. So I
Right.
wouldn't want to put that to a number. I want to say when they're at the stage where they do understand the effect of social
Mm-hmm.
media positively and negatively, and
Mm-hmm.
also how important it is for them to manage their time with their schoolwork, balance it. I listened to that young lady. I was so impressed. I
Me
was
too.
so impressed with her. She had to get that training somewhere. It didn't
Right.
just come up. And this is what we want our adults and caregivers and parents to understand, that we cannot leave our children to train themselves. We have a responsibility. The Bible says a child let alone will bring his mother shame. Read it in Proverbs 29. It is there. And that's what it
Wow.
is. If you do not grow your child, if you don't monitor your child, if you do not train your child well, the Bible said if you leave your child alone, it didn't say it would bring the father shame. And don't ask me why, but it said it will bring his mother
The
shame.
mother
And I
shame. Wow.
believe it's because the mother is responsible for teaching. If you look back in
Yes.
the Bible, the fathers would go out, the mothers would stay home. They were the
Yes.
teachers of the children, they were the role models, they were the ones that guided them. And yes, a lot of things have changed, modernization, socialization, all of these things have changed. But look at
Mm-hmm.
what we have become and look at what we have created out of our children. We should be ashamed of ourselves. We have not done a good job.
Wow. Wow. I too concur with Jonathan that I appreciate this approach that you're taking in terms of just acknowledging the parent's role in a child's behavior. And something else that the Bible does say is that if we train up a child in the way he should go, when he is old, as he grows, he will not depart
Never
from
depart.
it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And those are some principles that can actually be used in by parents in the raising of children. But honestly, Dr. Mullings, you find that sometimes a parent will try their best to instill values, but there will be some children that might even still go astray. What are some of the, I guess, warning signs that a parent should look for to know whether or not their child is being incorrectly or even prematurely exposed to social media, the negatives of social media? What are some of those warning signs?
Okay, the first thing that comes to my mind is that we must be very, very alert
Hmm.
and note and look for changes in our children's behavior.
Okay.
Look for signs. I remember when my daughter started Woolman's, she was just about in first form, and this was like a couple months, probably going towards the end of the first year. And rushing in the mornings as usual, I was involved in the PTR to get there early. And, we would get up early, do stuff early, pack our breakfast, and we would go to school, we would eat in the car, we would jump out. She would go to class, I'd get busy. So it was very early in the morning. And I said something to her. I ran out of the kitchen and I said something to her. And I turned my back and I heard, and I was like, huh? I turned back. And I said, excuse me? Did
Uh-oh.
you just hiss your teeth?
Uh-oh.
She said, yes. She said, yes, mommy. I said, okay. I've never heard it before. This is the first time.
Hmm.
But you understand that in this house, that which you just did is totally unacceptable. Therefore, everyone deserves a chance. You
Hmm.
just got your chance. I said, take it right back where you got it from, because it
Mm-hmm.
is not accepted in this house. Can I tell you, she's 23-year-old and I've never heard it again.
Wow.
I recognize that a little change was taking place.
Right.
We,
Mm-hmm.
we are just too busy. This is my concern. And I
Mm-hmm.
know because I am busy too. We are doing this, we are doing that, we are involved in this and involved in that, and we are so busy that we don't take time to note. And that
Mm-hmm.
morning when I heard that, I wanted to dismiss it because I was rushing. But I thought, no, 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 no. My mother would say, nip it in the bud, meaning the first thing
Yes.
that happened, stop it right there. And
Mm-hmm.
so, as busy as I was that morning, and I was on my way to the kitchen, and I just turned around and I came back and I asked the question just in case I didn't hear right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I want our parents to start looking out for changes. When you see the behavior start to change, something is fueling it. Something is causing your child to feel, I am no longer that little girl, that little boy. I am bigger than this, and I should be able to know to do so. And sometimes because they are involved in things that we are unaware of, then this is what is going to change their little attitude, and they're going to come with little things. And if we can open our eyes to see the difference in the behavior, we will
Yeah,
catch it early, because we will know that something is going on. As to whether or not it has to do with social media, or it has to do with the physical space, or whatever, but once we recognize the change, we're going to step on it. And once we step on it, we are going to move right into it and find out what is the root, what is going on, and we'll be able to fix it. So that's
definitely.
basically what I want to say. That parents must open their eyes, be very
Mm-hmm.
observant. Don't be too busy that you don't notice a switch or a shift. When you see it, attack it, deal with it, fix it right away, and help your child to understand that you have certain values at home. You have certain
Yeah,
stuff. It doesn't matter what happens outside. It doesn't matter
Mm-hmm.
who is doing it. Understand that when you come through this gate, this is what we do here. Very
definitely, definitely.
All
And
right.
Dr. Mullins, even on the whole matter of social media, because I tell persons all the time that the things that we see happening now are things that used to happen when I used to go to high school, right? It's just that social media is much more prevalent, and it gives a platform, right, where these things can be showcased to the world. So the question I wanted to ask you, do you think then that social media has given some amount of fuel to the fire in the minds of our children, that they crave this attention, and they crave this, this need to go viral and all of that?
I want to answer that by saying that I believe social media is a good tool, very good
Yeah.
tool, but it's a terrible master.
Mm-hmm.
If it controls you, you are in serious trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I see a problem. That as good as social media is, we share things, we learn, we can connect, we can interact, we can
Mm-hmm.
socialize, we are, getting information about other places and things and people. Really good, really, really good teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But when it becomes our master, which is where the problem is, the social media has become the master in the lives of the children. And
Mm-hmm.
because it is controlling them now, this
Mm-hmm.
is where we are having big issues. They are so controlled. When I heard that young lady said this morning, this afternoon, that when I wake up in the morning, I make sure I connect. I'm using my own words now. I make sure I
Right.
connect with God before I go to social
Yes.
media. I wanted to hug her, because
Mm-hmm.
this
I'm
is
telling
something
you.
that I am trying to get young people to understand. And not just young people, people who profess Christ in their
Yes.
lives. How important it is to put Christ first. I heard Joyce
Yes.
Miles said it, and I've copied it, and I'm quoting her. It must be the throne before the phone. When we get up in the morning, go to the throne before the phone.
That's
And how
Mm-hmm.
powerful.
we get our young people to understand how important this is, because if not, social media is going to control them. The sleep, the last thing at night is social media.
Yes.
The first thing in the morning is social media. So what happened in the middle of the day? Social media, because it
Right.
has become their life. So I don't even know if I answered the question, because I just wanted to start here.
No,
We
definitely,
hear your heart. We hear your
definitely, we
heart, and we're
definitely hear you.
I really want our young people to put a little bit more value on the other
yes.
things in life, and
Yes.
use social media as a pastime. When we were younger, we would listen to music, or we would do a little gardening, or we would do a little
Mm-hmm.
hopscotch, we look at pastime. But
Right.
social media has become their lives. And I
Life.
want
Yeah.
us to understand one of my biggest concern is for my child and for other children, because these children, when they get married, they are not going to be able to have a relationship with their husbands. The only are their wives. The only relationship they will have is that with their phones. They do not know how to
Wow.
socialize. All
Mm-hmm.
they know is how to sit with my phone. They will not be able to relate to their partners. It is
Yeah.
serious. We are moving to a place where people are going to be all by themselves and all for themselves. How many of us recognize when we walk into a dining setting, let's say a hotel, some function, and you sit at the table and someone comes, is this seat taken? You said, no, it has been reserved for you specially. And the person sit down. And the person sit down, they draw them chair and they pull it up back. And the next thing you know, their heads down and they're on the phone. And the next person join. And when you look across the hotel room,
Everybody.
everyone down
Everybody
to
on the
their
phone.
phone. Not what I am used to. I am used to us sitting down. Oh, I am Pauline. I represent the National Child Month Committee. And you are? Oh, it's so nice to meet. I heard you the other day and I want, and we're going to a conversation. Oh, no, no, no. Everyone is on the phone listening and doing their own thing. And we're in a
Right.
big public space. It is
Yeah.
serious.
It is. It is. It certainly is. And as you're talking, I am hearing, and I just want to echo something very important that you said, to take the focus off social media and don't let it be the phone before the throne.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want to bring our young people to, even inside of this show, because what this show is also being broadcast on social media. And like you said, it's just a tool. And I believe that social media is a powerful tool for the spreading of the gospel. But we want to encourage our young people that, especially if you're listening to this right now, let your life become more about seeking spiritual things. Jesus said something. He said, wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart will be. And
Mm-hmm.
put your treasure on God. Put your treasure on the things of God, and not so much on, the phone and what's happening on IG and Snapchat and TikTok and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But we thank you so much, Dr. Mullings, for your input, your feedback. It has been so valuable. And we want to thank you for sharing with us and for being with us on this episode of Campus Connection. Thank you.
It has been my pleasure, and thank you so much for the work you do. May God continue to
Definitely.
bless you as you impact and influence our young people. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
so
much,
much.
Doc.
God
Appreciate
bless.
it. Appreciate it.
Wow. Whew.
What a show.
What a show. What a show. Jonathan, I don't know. I don't
We
know.
need a longer show.
We need a longer show. I'm just saying. But that was intense. But I felt, I just felt her heart in it. And I even
Definitely.
felt God's heart in it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But we've come to the end. We've come to the end, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And we just want to say a very special big up to our honor roll guest, Leanne Allen. She was here with us today. And by the look of things, we know that she'll be doing some awesome things in the future. So we're looking forward to all that you have in store, Leanne.
That's right. That's right. And thanks also to our producer, Tony K. Bramfield, and to Timothy Butler for technical support. Shout out to Jermaine Johnson for his continued assistance. And we also want to say a special thanks to Dr. Pauline Mullings from the National Child's Month Committee. We just want to thank them for joining us this week. We do this again next week, Tuesday, same place, same time, same host. Until then, stay in school. I am Jonathan Fletcher.
And I'm Anesta. Bye bye.